Well, good afternoon, everybody. Chuck here with No Time to Be Sad. And today I want to do a Q&A video, but I also want to talk about some personal stuff with me, personal stuff with the channel, and a little bit of some stuff about what's going to happen next this year. Anyway, I appreciate you guys sending me the questions. We didn't have that many this time. I'm a little bit far behind on my videos. We had a lot of crazy comments. I kind of skipped through most of those I didn't want to share. I might share one here. I'm not really sure. We'll just see how this goes. But yeah, I appreciate it. If you guys got any more questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section of this video. Let's get to the first question. First question is by ADC. Chuck, do you do anything to stay awake on so many of these long drives? Yeah, I don't do like M150s and stuff like that. I drink like cold latte drinks. But we drove a lot in America. I drove a really big F350 diesel four-wheel drive truck, pulling about just under a 30-foot travel trailer. Couldn't tell the travel trailer was behind it because the truck was so heavy duty. But a lot of empty roads, a lot of nothing in between stops in the US, and you get really bored driving in America. But I always say in Thailand, it's never boring driving. There's always something coming at you. You kind of, when I first started driving, like I white knuckled it the whole time. But I have gotten a little comfortable behind the wheel, and that's not safe. A lot of times things snap me out of that and bring me back to reality. Thailand's considered one of the most dangerous places to drive in Thailand. I'd rather drive here than America. When I go back, I'm stressed out. Like, people hate you when you're in front of them, you know? People stare at their phones. I think a lot of reason why in America people don't die is because we have barriers that keep them from going off of the road and hitting a pole. Like, we have concrete barriers, metal barriers, stuff like that. So it keeps, you know, per capita, keeps the death toll down. Still, you see a lot of accidents in the United States, a lot. I see a lot more there than I do here when I'm driving. But usually, if it happens here, it's a fatality because most of the time the person's on a motorbike and they just kind of pull out in front of you. But there's PTT stations everywhere, seems like every 10 kilometers, but they're always entertaining. There's usually Amazon coffee, you know, get fuel, restrooms, 7-Eleven, little snack stands. A lot of things to kind of look at. They kind of got some of them got a little theme, you know, little selfie stations. But usually we stop and stretch our legs, get a little snack and maybe some coffee, you know, something like that. But yeah, I try not to drive too far. The longest I ever drive really is to Karat, and which is like 6-hour drive. But we've kind of been breaking that up, stopping in Udon Thani, which is 3.5 hours, and then another 3 hours to get to Karat. Anyway, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Next question is by Tommy Davis. Hey, Chuck, love your videos. Thank you. Just wondering, if a person does not drive, is it difficult to get to the smaller towns around Thailand? I will be visiting Chiang Mai and Jomtien in May for 20 days, planning my retirement in 2 years. Thanks so much for the great videos. Thank you very much for watching, and a compliment, Tommy. Yeah, you know, I think owning a vehicle, driving a vehicle is probably the most expensive way to get around town. But 100% easy to get around. Thailand is super, super, super easy. What I would do prior to coming is you kind of probably know where you're wanting to go. You can do some research, maybe find a tour guide or something in Thailand. I know when you get off the airplane in Suvarnabhumi, there's services like transportation services. You can hire a tour company to take you all around Thailand. I don't know the pricing. I know I got a price one time. It was like 3,000 baht a day plus the fuel cost. So I don't know. I don't know what the pricing is. If you go for long term, a week, 10 days, 20 days, if it's cheaper, something like that. But to hire a tour guide, but that's not what I recommend. But look online first and get some kind of ideas. Maybe you can just fly to the town and get a taxi to the hotel, a Grab taxi or a Bolt, and then you can hire a tour guide company to come pick you up at the hotel. But anyway, let's look online and see if we can find something online. All right, here's one. It's called, and I'm not trying to promote these people, but I just did a quick search on Thailand tours or Thailand tour guide. And I've got this one that says get your own guide. And you can go through here and find a tour. Here's one in Chiang Mai. I got a price here, 1,250 baht per person. I think it tells you what it entails. Pickup is optional. They'll come get you at the hotel lobby. So you can get to you can get a Grab taxi usually anywhere. And that's probably what I would do, is I would do the research on where I want to go. And then I would just take a Grab taxi there. You could fly to these places, take a train, take a bus, stuff like that. But here's some more. You can go to TripAdvisor and find the best things to do, stuff like that. But I would just do the research prior to coming and go from there. A lot of times you can find a tour guide that'll get you with a permanent driver that'll take you anywhere. Like I said, I don't think that's the cheapest way to go. And renting a car and paying for fuel is definitely not that cheap. My diesel, it cost me on the average of about 1,700 baht to fill it up. And you can get like 600-700 kilometers on that. So it's not, I don't think it's all that great, but it is freedom to drive around. But yeah, you can definitely get around from town to town by bus, taxi, tuk-tuk, stuff like that. But I would just fly, and I would recommend just doing that. Just fly to Chiang Mai, get the Grab taxi to take you to your hotel, and then from there you can either hire an excursion company to come pick you up and do that for like a tour guide, or you can just get another Grab taxi and take it there. Most of the city, even NakhonPhanom has Grab taxi. My mom uses it all the time. Grab, Bolt. Some cities like Jom Tien or like Chonburi province, they like to use Bolt. So Bolt and Grab taxi, you can look that up on the internet as well. Next question. This is a silly one, and I'm going to share it because and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later in this video, about people's expectations and the way that they think. And this person is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter anything about this people, but this is the kind of crap that you get when you make YouTube videos. People sharing their opinions about stuff like that. I've even had, and I could show you like letters that immigration have emailed me that people have sent, handwritten letters talking about how I'm breaking the law in Thailand, doing this or that. Even one guy said something about washing my car. I was taking money from Thai people. Sent a letter to the immigration officer in NakhonPhanom. My father-in-law did that little concrete pad in front of the house because they did a crappy job laying down the blacktop, and they left a big gap. And we have a lot of elderly people that park their motorbike here, and they have to park it in the middle of the street because you can't get it on the side because they can't get their bike down. It'll fall if they try to get down. Anyway, he talked to the road guy here. He said, if you want to pay for it, just do that. But it wasn't just my father-in-law had that. Many people around here did the same thing. And somebody sent a handwritten letter to them stating that I illegally put a foundation on the road and was going to cause water to build up during the rain and cause an accident, and that they needed to go make sure I had the proper permits to do that. And the guy, and he said, you can contact this guy through this YouTube channel, this and that, and he gave him my email address, and the guy's, I don't know, it was a funny little back and forth, but it's like, come talk to my father-in-law about that shit, you know? But it's just how people are, and I don't understand why they're like that. I don't know, I guess you could say jealousy, but who knows? I just think they're crazy people. But anyway, this person, Lenny Lugs, I don't know if it's a dude or a chick or whatever, a lady. I even had somebody the other day tell me that saying lady was unappropriate because, I don't know, maybe his idea of saying lady is derogatory. I'm like, I'm so glad I live in Thailand. Crazy people. That's the only bad thing about doing YouTube is if I didn't do YouTube, I promise you, living here and traveling, I would speak fluent Thai, and I would probably be like a monk. I wouldn't give a crap about anything, you know? I pretty much still, it's taken me a long time because I still have to concern myself with things that people share to me and do the, I do the YouTube because I like it. I'm just telling you the downfall is dealing with some, not really dealing with it, but it's like they're there, you know? It's like you're going to go have a nice meal with your family and then there's people at the other table. You didn't invite them, you don't want to be around, but you can hear their idiocracy at the other table. You know what I mean? Like, okay, what do? I want to enjoy my meal. Should I get up and leave or should I just continue to enjoy my meal? You know? And like, I'm not going to let these knuckleheads keep me from making YouTube videos, but I'm just, you know, and then you go home and you talk to your, you know, maybe you put it on Facebook how annoying the people were next to you just because it's like a little bit of redemption for you, you know. This person says, and they're talking about a video I did a long time ago. My friend Max is a tour guide. And in this video, I actually shared his information, and he is Thai, and he has made a lot of money off of this video and some other videos like this where I recommend his services, and I think he just loves us for that. Really super nice guy. But I made this video. He got a tour of us for us to go fishing, and we were catching a lot of barracuda that day. But, you know, the tour industry consists of the tour guide, the people that operate the tour, you know, they're all making money. The Tourist Authority of Thailand might disagree with this lug nut person, says this is illegal because fishing is a job and tourists are not supposed to work. The catch and the money he makes from fishing should have been earned by a local fisherman. We're talking about fishing like out in the Gulf of Thailand, like taking fish from there is gonna be illegal because I'm taking something from somebody. This person's a real winner. Like, where do these people come from? Where do these people get these thoughts? And this is strange to me how people are. That's another reason why I'm so glad I live in Thailand, because Thai people, you know, I don't really understand everything they talk about, so I don't really know. But I do know they don't really worry too much about stuff like this. Maybe some do, I don't know, which is the beautiful thing about it. But I'd hate to be around people like this. First off, I gave all of our fish away. And the few that I did catch, I gave to the local restaurant and paid her to cook them for me. And I only ate a little bit and I gave them the rest. But I gave somebody, I think I gave either the guy on the boat, I gave it all to him. I don't remember, it's been a while. But it's like what these people, these boat operators and stuff, they don't have a right to make money. The tour guides don't have a right to make money. You know, this person is a stupid person, extremely stupid person. And I hate that we are living on a planet where people think like this. It's crazy. In Thailand and they don't fish like that anyway with fishing poles. They'll go out there and drag, and they don't really eat barracuda that much anyway. You may see one or two at a shop. I don't know. There's so many stupid things I could say about this person. Let's just move on. But another reason why I'm so happy I live in Thailand, and then when I encounter stuff like this, it's like, holy shit, these people, how do they exist? Like, who do they talk to during the day? Can they find another stupid person like them to, or did they just make this stuff up so I'll make a video and talk about them? That would be better, I think. Becky Morton Weeks, next question. I'm sure you may have answered before, but who are the mafia ladies? Possibly just long-term friends. Becky, I've answered this many times, at least 20 times, I think. And sometimes I mention it on our travels when we're traveling with the ladies. But yes, none of them are related. My mother-in-law has one sister, and she lives in Korat, and she's the one that, now she lives in Bangkok. She had a stroke. We visited her not that long ago, but we used to stay at her house her sister's house a long time ago in Korat. She has a couple of brothers that live in town here. One we call her Paige calls him her pajama uncle because he's always wearing pajamas. He speaks English. He worked for an oil company and spent a lot of time on offshore rigs and smoked continuously, and he only has 40% lung capacity, and he has to be on an oxygen machine. He's been on that. I rarely see him come out of the house the 8.5 years that we've been here in Thailand. And her other brother lives in the fresh market, and that's it. But the ladies that come over here, they all went to school together from day one. Except Mathem, she went to school with them too, but she was a couple of grades higher than them. Mathem is the oldest out of the group and might be the healthiest. But I know I'll answer this again, Becky, but do me a favor since I answered your question. If you see that in the comment section one day when you're watching the channel, you can answer that for me. I would appreciate it. They're just friends. All right, I'm going to talk to you. There's a couple others I don't want to talk about. It's not worth talking about these people. We'll save them for another funny day. I want to talk about titles to making YouTube videos. A lot of controversy on like clickbait titles, stuff like that. I just talk about me. I don't know about other people how to make videos or what they should do to make videos or how to get the views and stuff like that. I don't know. I think to be successful with YouTube, you have to have a personality, you have to have something that's appealing, something that people want to watch, something that's enjoyable to watch, whether it's informational, comedy, or some kind of entertainment, travel, stuff like that. I don't think a lot of people, well, I know because I've been doing this a while, not a lot of people are interested in life in Thailand, living long-term in Thailand. We get a lot of people that like to travel to Thailand, so we get a lot of those viewers. But making a title to a video is almost impossible for me. Like, it's very difficult. Like, I got 5 videos right now already done in the queue, and I haven't made the title yet. So now I got to go back and figure out what was this video really about, because my videos are they're not like I'm telling you one particular thing, like how to travel to Koh Chang, best way to travel to Koh Chang, or best foods to eat in Chiang Mai. I don't know, it's not that kind of a video. We wake up, I say good morning, I talk about my day, we do some stuff, things happen, funny things, we eat, and what am I doing exactly? So I want people to watch the video you're not going to buy anything unless it looks appealing. You're not going to go into a department store that's just painted white and says store in the front. Things have to be dressed up for people to want to go into your place, to buy stuff, to watch your stuff. So sometimes you have to make a title. All of my titles are not clickbait. If people say they're clickbait because they didn't watch the video, they just skip through it looking for something that they thought the title meant, whether it was some catastrophe or they were looking for that and it didn't happen. And they were disappointed that I got them to watch a video that they were wanting. They were wanting to see a particular thing, like I'm going home back, where it's time to go back home, and their thought was, oh, I'm moving back to America because I've failed as a human being, and they're disappointed. So I get a little lit up, I think, when people say that, because I think, well, you didn't even watch the video. First off, you're complaining about something because your expectation was this or that. But, and I understand, I did a video title that was a little like, oh shit, I need to watch this. And you can see my list of videos, and you can see the ones that have many views and some that have little views, like touring Khao Yai or touring Chiang Khan, Nobody's going to watch that. Nobody really cares unless they're traveling that way. But if I made something like, something happened in the video where I got a flat tire and the guys tried to take my tire off without jacking the vehicle up, and I'd make some title about that, they're going to go, oh shit, I want to watch that. So it's difficult to make a title, and the people that complain, I don't know if they have successful YouTube channels, and they're, if I had 100 to 200,000 regular viewers, I could probably just call it Thailand video day number 6, and they would watch it. But I'm not there, and I'll never be there because the information that I'm giving is not something that's needed by most people, a big gigantic majority of the entire population. So I have to make a catchy video to try to get get new viewers to engage in my content, because I think in my mind, if I could just get them to watch the video, I think they'll like it. And that's that's how I happen to get a lot of my newer viewers, is they see something on a title and a cover page that looks interesting and they click on it. If I just have my face and say video number 7, nobody gives a crap. So, and I know the people that say that they're not even watching this video, or they probably haven't even watched whatever I named this video. They're looking for that and they're just skipping through, and they're not really watching this part anyway. So I want to travel to Vietnam again. Mitch and Dow actually planned to go with us the last time, but he had a medical emergency and he had to cancel everything. He didn't get his money back, but they would like to attempt to try to go again with us to Vietnam. Vietnam is a fun place. It's actually cheaper for me to drive our vehicle to NakhonPhanom, park it there for free, fly to Bangkok, spend a night or two in Bangkok, and fly to Vietnam. It's cheaper to do that than for us to travel down south by vehicle, because the cost of fuel. The cost to go on a plane in Thailand is cheap. You can get a ticket for under 1,000 baht if you plan it right. You can go to Vietnam really, really cheap on AirAsia. And if you fly AirAsia, we have an AirAsia credit card. It's easy to get a credit card. Actually, it's in Paige's name. I don't know about a foreigner, but I have my own card with my name on it. But it's Paige's account. You just have to have, if you put 200,000 baht in the account, you can get a credit card limit for, I think, a couple 100,000 baht. So it's just based on what you have in the account. But anyway, it's a credit card, and sometimes, we want to use that. And sometimes I can't use my American credit card for stuff like that. It gets, for security reasons, I have to use the Thai card, depending on what it is. So our airline stuff, we use the Thai credit card. It gives us free luggage, a bunch of other little benefits too. So, but we want to go to Vietnam. Had a really good time in Vietnam. Maybe spend more time in certain areas. Want to go back up north, so I don't know. I want to make sure it's not freezing cold because it does snow up north in Vietnam. I'm not interested in that anymore. Get kind of sore in the hands and the rest of the body. But it'll be fun. We're supposed to be going to Japan this year with Daz. I'm sure Daz probably want to go to Vietnam with us too. We haven't really decided when we're going to go to Japan, but those two places, Japan's not super cheap to go to. A lot of times I think round trip for two people or just under $600, which isn't too bad, $300 a person round trip. It's a 6.5 hour flight from Bangkok. But the yen right now versus the US dollar is pretty good. Like the yen is still down quite a bit. So you get a lot more for your money to go. But I think if we stayed outside of Tokyo this time, it might be a little less expensive. So we'll see. I still think the best way to travel around Thailand is just by air. The train thing just takes too damn long. If you like that kind of stuff, you know, you can get air-conditioned VIP, sleeper cabins, stuff like that. But as cheap as it is to fly, I would just recommend flying. You can fly just about anywhere in an area in Thailand, and then you can take a bus, a VIP bus, for anywhere between 300 and 700 baht per person on a VIP bus throughout there. But I would recommend traveling like that. You know, if you lived here, I would say, you know, a lot of people rent motorbikes long term or buy motorbikes. We discussed that on the last Q&A, the motorbike stuff. What else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about, and this is just my opinion again, and based on my experience. And it's not just about me living in Thailand a certain amount of time, but we've traveled almost every province. Let me give you my credentials here. We've traveled almost every province. I speak a little Thai, enough Thai to where I can travel by myself. And I know how to use the tools, you know, that my translator on Google, stuff like that, which I never really use that much. I can read and write. I don't need to write that much. I can write my name and other. I forgot most of it because I just talk into my phone now in Thai, and it just spells it out. I don't really write that much anymore, so my writing skills suck. But I can read, and a lot of times I don't know what it means. So also, I have a YouTube channel that I engage with thousands of people a month via Facebook, emails, and the comment section on our videos. Not just the video that you're seeing today, but videos. I have 2,000 something videos, and people comment on old videos. People still comment on our travel trailer videos. So a lot of those I don't reply, but they still have the comments about that. So people share their experience. So I get to recall a lot of that stuff, people's failures and successes, and on their living here, their traveling here, good or bad. Now this really, even if you're just visiting to Thailand or you're wanting to move to Thailand, I think the best thing for you to be successful traveling not just Thailand, I think anywhere, is our expectations. We only can imagine what we know. So we expect things to go a certain way from what we're used to, or what we've read, or what we've seen on YouTube, or whatever. We have this expectation, and usually that's where we fail. We come here and we expect them to understand what we're talking about, but in our own country, if you're somewhere and some guy comes from Pakistan, you're going to expect him to know some English. If he starts talking to you in his language, you're going to be like, dude, what do you expect me? I don't know what the hell you're saying, So I suggest to just try to just let things happen. I know sometimes things are frustrating, but we need to put ourselves back in place and realize where we're at. We're in a different country, a different culture, a different way of thinking, different language. You constantly hear people, and even me, say, I don't understand. I don't understand. Why do we need to understand? That's another biggest problem why we can't learn a language is because we can't try to understand. We try to understand too much. That's what I want to say. We can't just learn that this is the word. We're trying to relate this word to something that we can understand. So we're always trying to understand everything. Not that that's bad, because I think if you're coming here, you're obviously a curious person. Especially if you want to move somewhere outside of your country, you're curious. And a lot of people have an open mind about things, but things get like, okay, why, I want to go to the pharmacy. Why don't you have this particular thing? Everybody has this. When actually they do, it's just called something different and looks totally different because it's not packaged like you would see it at your local grocery store or pharmacy back wherever you live, like Walmart or whatever, So if you can keep your expectations down and realize that you're not in your element, you will be more successful being outside of your comfort zone. I think another problem for people is they want to be more permanent. They come from a place where they were at top of their game. Maybe they were a CEO at a company, or they were some kind of a very important teacher at a university and had a lot of prestige, and they come here and nobody even knows what they're saying, more or less cares about their achievements, so a lot of people, when they talk to you, and you'll get this if you talk to people over here, the first thing they do is they give you your credentials, their credentials. Like, I've been in Thailand for 10 years. I was a teacher at, whatever place in this university somewhere for so long. And they'll just go on a list of things that they know, and then they'll start to tell you how you should do things, You get that a lot here in Thailand. But I think these people, they had a hard time stepping off of that ladder, and then they come here and they're just down at the bottom, and they don't like that feeling. And a lot of them can't stay here for very long, because they don't really understand what's going on, But a lot of people try to be permanent in Thailand. I think they fail. Even though they're married, I'm married, or they have kids, or they bought a home, or they have a business here that they own. If they're American, they own a business here, or whatever. They own a lot of businesses here. They're making a lot of money for their community, this and that. But they're never going to be permanent in Thailand. Now, you can be permanent. If you want to be permanent, then go ahead and file for permanent resident. Learn how to speak fluent Thai, read, write, speak Thai, and become a permanent person in Thailand, I think. If you're going to be permanent, then act permanent. But no matter how you do all this stuff, you still look like a foreigner. And they're still going to call you a foreigner. I think a lot of people get upset because they still get treated like, in their mind, a second-class citizen. Because they can only relate to, like in America, everybody's different. Like, it doesn't matter what you look like, you're an American. Here, you're either Thai or you're a foreigner of some sort, You're not going to be Thai. Unless you're Asian and you fit in, then probably nobody will question you if you speak fluent Thai without an accent, So if you want to be permanent, try to be permanent, but you're never going to be permanent. You're always going to look like an outsider. I think this bothers a lot of people. And a lot of people, when they come and they own a house here and they've established themselves in a community, maybe they've donated to the local community, they know a lot of people, and then something happens, whether it's government or road problems or noisy neighbors or something, they get really irritated about it, you know, and they get angry. There's nothing that they can do about it. I mean, I would say, you know, that's why another reason I suggest not having a permanent living status, because so many people have shared this similar story to me, that their accommodations weren't what they expected to be and they lost out. I have no reason to try to deter anybody from buying a condo or a house or whatever. I mean, you know, I understand, yeah, it's cheaper to buy something, live rent-free, instead of paying a monthly rent to somebody. And then maybe possibly later, if you don't like it, you can sell it, get some of your money back and go somewhere. I understand the theory on that. But what I don't understand is a lot of people, they suffer through it, they get irritated, and then, you know, not just the process of building a home and the process of selling a home, but if it's worth it to you and you want to go through all that stuff, then go ahead and do it. But I think it's easier just to say, you know what, I've already paid for the year, but I can't stay here. I'll just lose the 6 months and I'll go bail somewhere else. Or just suffer through it for the next 6 months and then during that time, find another place still in that area or in a new province or whatever. I think I don't know about you, but my time and my sanity's worth something too, you know? There's value to that to me, just to be happy and carefree and not worry so much. I think there's some value in that other than owning something here in Thailand. Ownership doesn't always work out. A lot of people don't live here the rest of their entire life. If you think back in your long period of life that you had, has anything ever been permanent in your life? If you're living in Thailand, obviously that's not permanent, you know. You went from one place to another. So I don't understand the thought process of trying to be permanent anywhere. It just, it doesn't make sense to me. What does make sense to me is this. You're in a relationship with a Thai person and you're going to be with that person forever. Or you're in love with that person and you want to give something to that person for the rest of their life. So you build a home. You put it in that person's name because it's just easier, I think, just to put it in that person's name anyway. If you love that person, it doesn't really matter anyway. If you get divorced, are you going to live in the house by yourself? You know, I don't know. I would just say put it in her name if you really love her, and then, you know, long-term marriage relationship, and you live happily in Thailand. And then when you're gone, there's no issue. She gets to continue to have the house or sell the house or whatever she's going to do with it. I mean, no matter where you live in Thailand, I mean, in the world, sorry, the woman usually gets the things anyway, you know what I mean? A lot of people I've talked to, including myself, have had to start over a few times in relationships. So, you know, if you build a little modest home somewhere on the family's property, I don't see anything wrong with that, you know? I mean, I can tell you a bunch of stories of people that have lost, you know? I can tell you stories of people that are successful. My old accountant married a girl he met in a bar in Pattaya. They've got 3 kids, already grown up now, gone off to college. They built a house in Chumpon. The family lives there, not really taking care of it as much as he would want them to, but the family lives there, but they still live in America because, you know, the kids are going to school and the kids are their life right now. But, you know, the house is always here for them. And if they get divorced, then, you know, she gets the house or whatever, you know. They're not thinking about that because they're married. You know, they're not thinking about, well, one day we're going to get divorced. All I'm saying is look at the big picture. Freedom and happiness in a place that you're only allowed to be here 1 year at a time. All governments change, systems change. A lot of times people move from state to state or province to province in their own country because the ideology changes, the local government changes, taxes, stuff. People move around, you know. But when you're here in another country and you're not a permanent resident, you know, this doesn't make sense. I'm just trying to tell you guys how to be more successful. I'm not telling you that you can't be successful doing that. There are people that are successful doing that, but most of it, no. Most of it is no. Most of people are not. They lose on that deal. If I'm wrong, you guys can let me know in the comment section. If you guys have similar thoughts, you can just leave your thoughts below. I really appreciate the feedback. I don't appreciate what say, hey, you know, you're an asshole, dickhead, this blah, 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 blah. You're just trying to get some attention, you know, to feel better, I guess. But I only share my thought, my experience, and that's about all I got to say on that. Just keep your expectations low and try not to be permanent when you come over here. That's about it, guys. Still waiting for the bank to give me my 1-year statement. That's the only, I almost feel like just changing banks because of this. But we're just coming off of a holiday. They had like 4 days off, so were probably backlogged. I've got 30 days to get my visa stuff done anyway. So I never wait till the last minute. But I'm still waiting on that so I can go to immigration and apply for my 1-year visa extension. So I can stay in Thailand 1 more year. The beautiful thing about my situation's a little bit different. I live kind of Thai. I say Thai style, and people say, "Oh, that's not Thai style, Chuck. We live in a stick house in the middle of nowhere." Well, I live Thai family style because that's what we prefer, and it really works out good. You know, I don't know if a lot of people can handle what I do. All families are a little bit different. You know, if things were different, we wouldn't be doing this, you know, but it works out good for me. So I don't think too much about stuff. And now I have the lawyer in Bangkok. If I have a real serious problem with my immigration, which I can't understand why, I would just go to him and just pay him to give me a new visa, you know. It doesn't really matter whether you had the same visa for 8 years or 9 years. I just get a new visa and stay here. It's all temporary anyway, you know. It doesn't matter, oh, I've had this visa for 10 years. Who does it really matter? They don't care. It doesn't mean anything to anybody here, you know. So, you know, I don't worry too much because of my living conditions. We don't own anything. You know, if I had to go live somewhere for most of the year and then come visit Thailand for 3 months, our stuff is not going anywhere, you know. So we really don't care. We really don't care. And Paige, I'm lucky, she's very flexible. She would move back to America in a minute. She's not tied down to her family. You know, another problem that I have, not really a problem, but I do have my mom. But, you know, my mom can go anywhere. My mom has her sister back home, you know, but I know that's not going to work. But I don't worry too much about that. I don't worry about going anywhere in Thailand. I don't plan on going anywhere in Thailand. I'm just saying I don't really worry too much because I'm not anchored in. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to me, blah, 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 blah. If you got anything to say, leave it down below. If you got time, subscribe to the channel. If you like this conversation, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.